Hello YouTube, Moose Cow here, continuing our first YouTube war of Kings and Kaisers. I am of course playing the Madman if you're just tuning in, and he's the Central Powers and I am the Allied Powers, and it is round one with the turns of the Kingdom of Italy and the United States. So, currently, as it is the first round and war has not been declared upon Italy, Italy is still neutral. So I can only do non-combat moves and stay within my sea zones to adjacent territories. So that means that my guy down here in Somaliland can't do anything, and I can stay only within these two sea zones. I could go into here, I suppose, but I'm not going to do that. Anyway, so let's see. So this are my purchases, and of course, my purchases are over here too. Also, really quick, I realized recently that there was a mistake I made with Russia. I had an infantry incorrectly set up here in Archangel, so he cannot move in here, and that means I have to have an infantry here. So what I'm doing is I am taking one infantry that I built in Petrograd and building him here, and one artillery that I built in central Russia is going in Ingria. So that is a correction. I've already let Madman know about that. Let's see. Okay. Anyway, back to Italy. So I got my first one of my first task force markers on the board here in Veneto. I got these guys, and there's going to be more dudes meeting up with them. So first things first, though, before I get moving stuff, I do want to explain a map design choice. We have made Albania neutral instead of pro-Italy like it is in the original 1914 game. And there's a reason for that. That's not really accurate. So also to the people who are maybe asking, where is the very small country of Montenegro? Well, it's so small that we didn't feel like making that a separate territory, and if you really need to want to know where it is, just consider it part of Albania. But anyway, just for design's sake, it's just Albania. So anyway, Albania is a neutral that World War I kind of spilled over into after Serbians and fled from Serbia over into there, and for various reasons, conflict spilled over into Albania and Montenegro, based on my understanding of things. And so also other people have also done this where they make Albania neutral. So since those are 2 IPCs and 4 units, 3 infantry and 1 artillery, that Italy no longer gets to have, we added those 4 units and those 2 IPCs to Italy's starting setup. So the 2 IPCs from Albania that they would have otherwise normally been able to gain. Sicily, we added 1 there, and we added 1 to Sardinia. You'll also see that we gave an IPC to Corsica, so unlike the original 1914 map, we have a purpose for each of those island territories. Pretty cool, right? We also made Sicily a walk-on, which is what that line means. So this guy could go to here, but he's not going to be doing that. As for the units from Albania, we split them up accordingly. So what we did was we moved the artillery to Tuscany, and then the 3 infantry we added to Sardinia, Sicily, and 1 down to Libya. And the reason for that is kind of making these ones not as able to easily impact the north. And the artillery that we added here, we added this here because in the out-of-box setup, sorry, bumping stuff over because I got one hand and I'm looking at a phone. All right, so we added, let's see, normally it's just 1 infantry here. So we moved the artillery here because Austria, having their transport, which we play tested a few games without them having this transport, but we wanted to give it back to them. And it's very easy for Austria to disrupt this and therefore prevent Italy from railing if they're going to attack here, because Italy, you cannot rail through contested territory. So what we did was we added the artillery there, which gives them a preemptive shot, first strike, if the Austro-Hungarians decide to amphibiously assault Tuscany. And we moved 1 infantry from the Piedmont setup down to Tuscany. So there are 5 infantry here now instead of 6. Now with that out of the way, the changes to Italy out of the way, let's get on with the turn. So again, my purchases are a fighter, a sub, and a artillery because they start with 16 IPCs. But let's see what I have for my tech. My technology. Let's see if I get anything from my technology token. 2 and a 4. Nothing. Okay, so Italy keeps their tech for another day, for another round. All right, non-combats. First off, this transport is going to go over here, pick up this infantry, come over here, pick up this infantry, drop them off in Libya. All these units, 5 infantry, 2 artillery from Piedmont will move into Veneto. The 2 infantry and this artillery will move into Veneto. And then 3 infantry will rail from Lazio or Rome to Veneto. And I can only rail 3 because that is the IPC value of the territory. These 2 artillery will move here. This infantry will move here. 1 more infantry will move to Tuscany. Those 2 infantry will stay behind. These guys will stay put. And purchases, you guessed it, they have to go in the only places they can go. So there we go. That is Italy. So do a quick disposition of forces for Italy. We have sub, cruiser, dreadnought, transport in Sea Zone 29. We got the infantry, 1 lone infantry in Somaliland. We got 4 infantry and artillery in Libya. 2 artillery, 2 infantry in Tuscany. In Veneto, we now have 5 artillery, 6, 5, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 infantry. 16 infantry and 5 artillery. And then in Tuscany, we have 2 infantry, 2 artillery. And then in Rome, we have 2 infantry, a fighter, and an artillery. So that is Italy. They collect their standard, same thing, 16 IPCs. So now America. America has 1 technology token. They have 21 IPCs to spend. They have 1 technology token. They're going to buy 1 more for 5 IPCs, buy a transport for 6, and buy another transport and an artillery for 10. Okay? America is not at war. I do have 1 guy over here in the Philippines, but we'll see if anything happens with him. Anyway, America is not at war. So, let's see. I am confined to moving within adjacent, ending movement within adjacent sea zones, sea zones that are adjacent to U.S. territory, so technically I can move down here. Technically I can move out to Hawaii, Guam, and the Philippines. I can move all this stuff here. I have 5 turns, unless the Central Powers declare war on me. I have 5 turns, including this one, before I can declare war on them. Up from 4 rounds, as in the original 1914. So, here's what we're going to do. What are we going to do? Alright, so this transport is going to pick up infantry and artillery here and go 1, 2, unload in Central America. This cruiser, which can move 3, is going to go 1, 2. And it's not going to go 3 because our rule is that the Panama Canal is closed while the United States is a neutral. The reason for that is that even though the Panama Canal was built in by 1914, technically actually the celebration of it was kind of canceled or very underwhelming because of the outbreak of the war being distracting, so there wasn't really a grand ceremony that occurred for the Panama Canal. I learned this up and learned this recently. And apparently the Panama Canal for this first several years was very problematic and was prone to mudslides and other disasters and stuff, so to speak. So there were several time periods where it was basically inoperable. It was opening and shutting, and they were struggling to get off the ground. So it really didn't become effective until towards the end of the war, when America joined. But for game purposes, that canal is considered closed until the United States is at war. So if they declare war on me, then these units can come through. So anyway, there you go. History lesson 101. The other rule we have for the United States is that they can invade one adjacent neutral territory, and that is to represent that in 1915 the United States actually invaded Hispaniola. So if I want to boost my IPCs that I get or whatever, or do something while I'm neutral, I can invade Hispaniola, I can invade Venezuela, I can invade Colombia, I can invade Ecuador, and that's because all of those are within adjacent sea zones to United States territories. I cannot come down to sea zone 72, I cannot come down to 8, and I can also not align any of my pro-US territories. Cuba and Brazil, I cannot align those, and allies cannot align those until at war. So, until the United States is at war. So, that's our little Latin America intervention rule for the U.S. to what they can do while neutral. So, let's see. What am I going to do? Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to invade anything just yet, because I only have one transport here at my disposal. So, it's a little risky. So yeah, anyway, I brought those guys down there. I'm just going to move this one infantry from central U.S. over to eastern U.S. Bring this cavalry, you know what? Bring this cavalry over here. And, I'll just stay there. Yeah, I'll just stay there. And actually, you know what? The central United States, he's going to go down to southeast United States. And then, let's see, this cruiser here is going to go to 7. This cruiser here is going to go to 7. This transport here is going to move over to 4. And let's see. Actually, you know what? He's going to move over to 6. Okay, because I'm building 2 more. Those guys will stay put. So there's not much else that U.S. can do. Oh man, I'm getting ahead of myself. These 2 technology tokens. I'm going to roll for these, and another rule for the U.S. while neutral is that the U.S. while neutral can share their technology. So let's see if I get something for these, 2 at a time. Let's see, 3 and a 1. Nope. Next technology token. Come on. 5 and a 6. 5 and a 6. Or a 6. 4 and a 1. That one's leaning a little bit, but so must be a little bit of fuzz under it. But that's clearly a 1. So Central Powers got off easy. Because basically what that means is if any tech that I get while I'm neutral, I can immediately say, "Oh, take this, Britain. You can have this," and then Britain would receive it, put it on their capital, and then at their turn they'd be able to place it. They would put it upside down to show that it's not active, but if I gave it to Britain, they would put it here, and then if on their turn, they could then choose to place it wherever they want. And I can only do that while neutral, so it gives incentive for the Central Powers to declare war on me, to stop me from sharing my tech. That's the idea, at least. So 2 technology chips for the U.S., 2 transports and artillery. Transports both going down in Sea Zone 4. Artillery going down in eastern United States. So the U.S. Disposition, 2 cavalry in southwest United States, 2 infantry in southwest United States, 3 infantry and 1 artillery in southeast United States, 3 artillery and 6 infantry in eastern United States, 2 transports and a dreadnought in Sea Zone 4, a cruiser and a transport in Sea Zone 71, transport in 6, 2 cruisers in 7. Okay, and also the lone infantry on the Philippines. They will then collect once again their 21 IPCs. So that does it for Italy and US. Round 1. Now, China would be up next, but China does not, because no one's attacked China. they're neutral until round 3. Their national protection war begins, which was a civil war they had, and then the outcome of that affects the rest of their role in the war. So, skipping China, we are back to Austria-Hungary. This has been a cool game so far. Very happy with how it has turned out. Be doing a recap after this, but really cool game. So stay tuned for more. And Madman will have a good turn, I'm sure, for Austria-Hungary in store for us. We'll see. I'm sure we'll see plenty of action with them. So stay tuned.